Yeah. Yeah. Good evening, all. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether my screen is visible or not, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So in the last session, just I was just briefing you about Python Software Foundation. It's a non-profit organization devoted towards Python community. It was launched in the year 2001, like 20 years ago, and objective is to foster the development of Python. And in the year 2004, right, compute that is what PSF received Computer World Horizon Award. It received what? Computer World Horizon Award as the cutting edge technology. And the president is like Guido van Rossum, and headquarters Delaware, United States, right? And official website python.org. Python.org is the official website, right? From where we are going to download this Python and installing that Python, right? Fine. And versions like Python 1.x, Python 2.x, and Python 3.x, right? And by latest version like Python 3.10. Stable version is like Python 3.7, mostly used. What is the stable version, right? And the previous stable version is 2.7, right? So yesterday just I showed you how to download and how to install Python, right? Yes. So if anybody wants to use Python in the Linux environment, if you want, by default, you get Python along with this Linux OS, right? But if you want the latest version to be installed within this Linux environment also, like you need to say this command apt get install, right? Python 3.10. If 3.9 not available, 3.9 you can go, right? Here if you always you want to just install from the root user in that Linux, right? Sudo you say apt get install Python 3.10, right? This is the command automatically downloads and installs Python. Okay. Python execution modes. Next I'm going to discuss like Python execution modes, right? Execution modes. Like we say like two modes of execution. We have got like two modes of execution. First one, like two modes of execution, like interactive mode and batch mode. Interactive mode, and second is like batch mode. Interactive mode means just I was saying, if you go to this command prompt at the bottom, just type cmd, you can type any valid Python statements. Just say Python and say enter. Python version will be displayed. Interpreter gets opened, right? Okay, any valid Python statements you can type here. No need of any. Okay. X equal to 5, x plus 10, x minus 10, x into 10. Any valid statements you can type and you can interact, right? Yes. X to the power of 3, right? 5 to the power of 3. This is the power symbol. Single star multiplication, double star nothing but exponent. That is x to the power of 3. 5 to the power of 3. That is what is that? 125, right? Okay. So this is what the user can easily interact statement by statement with this, right? This we call it as interactive mode, right? So if you say quit, if you come out of this, right? Yes. Interactive mode. Here we directly type Python statements. We directly type Python statements within the editors. Sorry. Here we directly type Python statements on the interpreter. And the user can easily interact. Right? With the Python statement by statement. Interact with Python statement by statement. Okay. We directly type Python statements on the interpreter and the user can easily interact with Python statement by statement. Advantage. What is the advantage we see with this interactive mode? What advantage we are going to see from this interactive mode means, if it doesn't know about any particular functionality, right, we can just type here on this interactive mode and test it, right? To test the functionalities of Python, to test the functionalities, to test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python, to test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python. To test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python. As a learner, as a beginner, as a learner, right, this interactive mode works better. It just displays statement by statement, giving the results, right, which you cannot see in other programmings. So here in Python, and batch mode means, so what is the drawback? Interactive mode means we cannot develop applications using interactive mode. We can only develop code using interactive mode, but for developing applications, right, we need to go for batch mode. Okay, here within the batch mode, here we write a batch of statements. Here we write, say, batch of statements within the editors or IDs, within the editors or IDs. We write batch of statements within the editors or IDs and save it by using .py extension and later submit it to Python and later submit. We write batch of statements within the editors or IDs and save it by using a .py extension and later submit to Python and later submitting this to Python, right? Yes. Now, what are the various editors where we are going to write the Python code? What are the various IDs where we write the Python code, right? Various editors like Notepad, Edit Plus, VI, Nano, right? Various editors like Notepad, Edit Plus, VI, and Nano. What are the various IDs where we write the Python code, right? Integrated development environment. What is the full form of IDE? Integrated development environment. What are the various IDEs? What are the various IDs where we write the Python code? Various IDs means like we see like PyCharm is one. PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, right? Jupyter, Atom, and VS Code. So these are the various IDs. I'm going to show you on all these IDs where we can write this Python code and execute the Python code. Step by step, how to download them, how to install them, and how to run the code, how to write the code, and how to execute the code within this. PyCharm is the mostly used IDE. Among all this, PyCharm is mostly used one, right? Mostly used ID. And this, if you talk like Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter, Atom, VS Code, right? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to work with Anaconda distribution, Anaconda prompt and navigator using Jupyter, all this, right? So just now let me show you like developing Python application, developing the first Python application using a editor, right? Developing the first Python application, right? Using a editor, right? Example editor like Notepad, right? Where we can write the Python code and execute, right? So just open Notepad and type the following code, right? Just open Notepad and type the following code. Open Notepad and type the following code, right? Okay. Up to now, we didn't discuss anything about this Python, right? So now, just taking two values x as 10, y as 20, I want to perform some kind of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and arithmetic operations, right? X plus y, x minus y, right? I want to just perform some kind of addition, subtractions, multiplication, and division. X into y and x by y, right? X into y and x by y. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, right? Open Notepad and type the following code: x as 10, y as 20, addition, these things, right? Fine. Okay, I'll just copy this to a separate notepad file. I'll just copy this to a separate notepad file, right? Okay, just say notepad and just paste it in that notepad, right? One second. So okay, x as 10, y as 20, print x plus y, x minus x into y, x by y, right? Okay, save it. And just if you go to this, right, Within the C drive, I created a separate folder for this batch in the previous batch, 7 p.m. batch, Python 7 p.m. batch. As you can just say, sample1.py, sample1.py, right? Yes. Save it. Sorry. So I'm writing here. Save it as sample1.py. Now submitting this file to Python. Now submitting this file to now submitting this file to Python as okay. I want to submit this file. Okay. Where this file is saved in sample, okay, sample1.py within the 7 p.m. batch folder. It's now go to this command prompt. Just type Python. Don't say enter. It will go to the interactive mode. Say just to submit your file C drive within that Python 7 p.m. batch. Within the 7 p.m. batch, sample1.py, right? Okay. Enter. So 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, and 10 by 20, right? Yes. Okay, these things. So submitting the file as yes in this manner. Python C drive. So here the file where it is available in which directory and the drive name, the folder name, and the file name. Okay. But here, what is your observation here? But what is your observation here? But here we are writing the code. We are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place. Other place, right? Yes. But here we are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place. But to write and execute, right, at the same place. Here we are writing the code at one place and executing at the same other place. We are writing that one place and writing the code at one place means within the notepad. And executing at the other place means and executing at the other place. Command prompt, right? Executing at the other place like command prompt. But to write and execute at the same place, we have ideally, we have what? IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can work with both, interactive and batch mode, right? So here we are writing the code at one place, at notepad you are writing, at the other place like command prompt you are executing. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can work with both interactive and batch mode, right? Yes. Okay. Now let me show you how to open this IDLE and how to write the code and execute the code at the same place. And this is your code, right? Normal addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Just go to the start programs. Go to the start programs and just check where your Python is installed here. Python 3.10. Just open this IDLE, right? Open this IDLE. Right. Whenever you click this IDLE, Python shell gets opened and you can work with interactive mode here, right? 3 into 7, right? 21. If you want to work in batch mode, file, new file, and just write your code here. Before save it first save it within the C drive, Python 7 p.m. batch, right? Save it as test.py, right? Okay, run module. So 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, right? Yes. Okay. So understood, right? So just writing here itself and executing at the same place. We are writing the code and executing at the same place. Okay. Fine. Where you can see this ideally, go where your Python is installed within the start programs. Go to this Python, right? Where you can see this Python 3.10. Check this. You will see the first one ideally, right? Click it. Python shell gets open. Say file, new file. Write your code here and run module. You can say to execute, right? Yes. Now next is like entering into the technical set, basics of Python. Okay. Python data types. Python data types and variables of Python data types. For example, every organization every organization use case has got data and operations. Every organization use case has got data and operations, right? Data represented using right, data types or variables. Operations represented using functions. Observe this. Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using functions. Okay, just observe this diagram once. If you take the example of any organization, right? If you take the example of a bank, take the example of a bank, right? Bank consists of what? Customers and employees. Customers and employees, right? Yes. Customers has got data and operations. Data and operations. Data like customer name, Ajay, account number 30987640. Customer, what is it? Customer name, account number, balance 90,000, right? Address, data, customers data and operations. Data represented by using, so this entire thing, data represented using what? Data types or variables. Operations represented using the functions. Operations like what operations? Deposit operation, withdraw operation, deposit operation, withdraw operation, transfer operation. All these operations represented using what? Functions. Okay. Similarly for employees also we have got like data and operations. Data operations, data like employee ID, employee name, employee ID, employee name, salary, designation like manager, right? Employee ID, employee name, salary, designation. Okay. All this data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented like we have got data and operations. Operations represented, right? Operations represented using operations like calculating the tax, calculating the net salary. So all this by using functions. Data and operations, right? Okay. Data by using data types or variables, operations using functions. Okay. Fine. Now observe this. Talk about any programming language, either C or C++ or Java or Python, right? Any programming language, C or C++, Java or Python. They represents data, right? Using Data types are variables. Using what? Data types are variables. On that data, you are performing operations. On that data, performing operations using functions, right? Using any programming language, C or C++, Java, they represents data using data types and using data types of variables, operations using functions, right? So data by using data types or variables, operations using functions. Data, okay. Okay. Observe this. If I discuss like C, C++, Java as compared with Python, right? Python supports dynamic data types. Python supports what? Dynamic data types. Dynamic data types, right? Okay. If in other programming language, if I want to create one variable like x equal to 10, I want like x equal to 10, right? Fine. Compulsory, and we need to define the data type int x equal to 10. If I want to give like y equal to 4.5 something in decimals, right? And to say like float y equal to 4.5. Z equal to hello, right? String z equal to hello, right? Yes. Int x is 10, float y is that, string z is this, right? Okay. But in the case of Python, no need to define this data types, right? Directly I can say x as 10, y as 4.5, z as hello, right? Z as hello, right? So no need to define this data type. But here in the case of other programming, if we say x, so it's int is x is what type? Integer type. X y is what type of variable means? Float variable. We have given float. String. Z is what type of variable means? String. So here you are defining that based on the data type defining, you are saying x as integer, y as float, z as string. But here in Python, x is what kind of variable? X is what kind of variable means? What value you have assigned to it? If you are assigning integer value, then integer variable created. Integer variable creates. If it is a float value, then float variable creates, right? If it is a string, string value, okay, that's creates, right? So understand. Type of y. What is the type of y? Type of y is what type? Float type. Why it is float? Type of y means float type. Why it is float means you have assigned a float value to it. Type of x. Type of x means what type? Integer type, because you assigned the integer value, right? Type of z. Type of z is what type? String type. So we are okay. String type, because you're assigning a string value to it, right? Okay. X is 10, y is 4.5, z equal to, right? Type of x is int, type of y is float, type of z is what? String type. So here, dynamic data types. There is a function provided by Python, type function, to see the type of y. It's float. Why it is float means float value is assigned, right? Okay, that is what Python. Based on the value assigned, the variables are created dynamically during runtime, right? Fine. So I'm just going to discuss 4 cases here. Just observe these 4 cases and try to respond, right? Defining variables. I'll come back to this data types, but before that, defining variables. Case 1. Whenever you say x equal to 10, whenever you say x equal to 10, right? Internally one object gets created with value 10. Internally an object gets created with value 10, right? X equal to 10, an object gets created with value 10, it is going to have some address. The address is given to x. So whenever you say x equal to 10, right? Whenever you say x equal to 10, internally one object with value 10 gets created. It is going to occupy some address, physical memory location address. That address is given to x. Whenever we say x equal to 10, what x is storing, what x stores, don't say like x stores 10, it stores the address. 3 things you need to understand here. Print x, whenever you say print x, right? Then the print x means it goes to this address and prints the content at that address. Print x means prints the content at that address. Prints the content at that address. What is the content at that address? It is what? 10. Print id of x. What is id of x? Prints the address. Prints what? The address of x. One 103070. What is that? It prints the address of x. Type of x. Type of x means prints the data type of x. Prints the content at that address, that is 10. id of x means prints the address of x, that is 1. Print the data type of x. Type of x means data type of x is what? Integer type. These 3 things you need to understand: printing the content, printing the address, printing the type. id is one built-in function, type is one built-in function of Python for printing the addresses and data types, right? Understood everyone? Any query in this? What happens internally whenever you are defining some variable in Python? Internally this object gets created having some address, the address given to x, right? printing the content, printing the address, and printing the data type. Next, observe this case 2. Everyone try to observe this case 2, right? Case 2 means, for example, try to answer everyone. X equal to 10, Y equal to 20. How many objects are going to get created? I want response from you guys. You can just unmute yourself and you can just give the response, or you can give the response through chat panel.
Two objects.
Two objects.
So 2 objects, right? Okay, here. I want the sessions to be interactive from here onwards, and we are entering into the technicals, right? So 103070. Whether your answers are correct or wrong, please try to keep on responding. Okay, here for 20, one more object gets created with value 20. It is going to have some address. The address is given to Y. Okay. Print X. Observe this. Print X. What is the X value it is going to print? Try to respond. Print X.
10.
10. Print ID of X. Address of X.
103070.
103070. Type of X. Print type.
Integer.
Print Y. Next, print Y. What is that?
20.
20.
Yeah, print Y is 20. Address of Y.
04080.
104080.
4080, right? Yes. Print type of Y. Type of Y, right?
Integer.
Integer.
Type of Y is integer, right? Okay. 2 different variables with 2 different values, then 2 different objects gets created with 2 different addresses, right? Yes. Understood? Any query in this, anyone? Right? How to define 2 variables? How, what happens internally? Yes. I'll be showing you all these 4 cases practically, right? I'll just show all these 4 cases practically. Now observe this case 3 now. Now everyone try to answer for this case 3. Yes. X value is 10. X value is 10. Y is also 10. X and Y, 2 different variables. X has 10, Y has 10. How many objects gets created here? Yes, everyone?
2 objects.
2.
Everyone try to respond.
2 objects.
Observe carefully. Here only
One object.
one object is created. X equal 10, one object created with some address. Before creating the object for Y, it checks any object with value 10 is already available. Any object with value 10 is already available. If available, the same address is given to Y. If any object with value 10 already available, then it won't create one more object. It takes the same address. The same address will be returned to Y also, right? If X is 10, Y is 10, Z also 10. How many objects created?
1.
Only one object. Its address is given to X, its address is given to Y, its address is given to Z. For example, if X value 10, Y is 20, Z is 30. How many objects?
3.
3 objects.
3 objects.
Yeah, 3 objects, right? 3 objects with 3 different addresses, right? Now try to here X, Y, and Z. They are sharing.
Object 3, but address are 3.
Address is 1. Variables are 3. X, Y, Z. all the three variables x, y, z, they are sharing the same address and the content. Print x, observe this, print x, right? Or print y, print z, all are going to print the same thing, right? Yes, 10 only. They are going to share the same content and the address. Address of x equal to address of y equal to address of z. They are going to be the same, right? 103070, and type also going to be the same. This what a case 3. Understood everyone? If the contents are same, one object. If the contents are different, multiple objects. If the contents are same, only one object. If the contents are different, 10, 20, 30, different objects gets created, right? Yes. Observe this case for everyone, right? X equal to 10 and x equal to 20. How many objects? How many objects?
Two.
get created?
So two objects.
Two objects gets created, right? For 10 one object, 21 object, right? 10 is going to have some address that is given to us. 20 is also going to one object, right? With some address. The address is given to this, right? Okay. Now if I say print x, what is x value it is going to print, right?
10.
Print x. If I say like print x, it will print what? Yes, everyone try to answer.
10. 10. 10.
If
What
I-
question?
X
Print
is
x.
10, x is 20. Now if I say print x, what is the x value it prints?
30.
10.
30.
So 30.
20.
20.
Always. Your salary last year 50,000. Your salary this year 80,000. Print salary, what it prints? Latest value, right? X
20.
equal to 20. The latest value it prints the value.
Okay.
Print ID of x. What is that ID of x?
10407.
10407.
Print type of x. Type of x is what type?
Integer.
Integer.
Integer type, right? Yes. Type of x is integer. Next, for example, what happens to the previous object? What happens to this object 10? Can I print the value of this object 10 or not? Can I print the value of this object 10? What happens to this? Whether is it available, not available? If available, can I print the value of it? Okay. 1 second. So my query was, what happens to the previous object, whether it's available, not available, it gets removed or what? So for to understand that what happens to the previous object, there is a small concept called garbage collector. So it's too early to discuss that concept, but I just give overview of on it. Later we discuss with multiple examples during our concepts, right? To understand what happens to the previous object. For that, I'm going to this case 3, garbage collector. removes garbage collector, removes unused or unreferred objects. Garbage collector removes unused or unreferred objects from the memory. From the memory, right? Yes. Removes unused or unreferred objects from the memory. What do you mean by unused and unreferred objects? Objects. Unused and unreferred means objects whose reference count. Objects whose reference count becomes 0. Objects whose reference count becomes 0. Whose reference count becomes 0, then those objects are immediately removed. Those objects are immediately removed. Objects whose reference count becomes 0, then those objects are immediately removed by the garbage collector. Objects whose reference count becomes 0, then those objects are immediately removed by the garbage collector. Then immediately removed by the garbage collector, right? Now, what you may ask, what is this reference count becoming 0? What is this reference count becoming 0? Reference count becoming 0 means, here I'm writing reference count. What do you mean by reference count? Number of variables. Reference count means number of variables pointing to an object. Pointing number of variables pointing to an object, or number of variables pointing to an object, or number of variables storing address of an object. Here, if you observe this example, right? Here, how many variables are pointing to this object? 10. How many variables are pointing to this object? 10. Try to answer. X is pointing, Y is pointing, Z is pointing. So what is the reference count here?
3.
So X is pointing to this object, Y is pointing to this, Z is pointing. So what is it? Number of variables pointing to an object. Number of variables pointing to an object will give the reference count. Okay. Our number of variables storing the address of an object. X is storing this object address, Y is storing this object address, Z is also storing this object address. So reference count is 3. Understood, right, everyone? What do you mean by reference count? Yes. Number of variables pointing to an object, or number of variables storing address of an object. So now what I will do, reference count is 3. Slowly I'll modify this y value is 10, right? I'll make it to 20. I'll modify the y value to 20. Slowly one object gets created with value 20 with some address, right? This address is given to y. Now y is pointing to the new object 20. Y is not pointing to this object 10. It is not pointing to this object 10. So reference count decreases to what? Yes. What is the reference count now?
2.
So only x and z are pointing to this object. Y was pointing to a different object now. Now slowly I'll modify the z value also to 30. Y equal to 20, z equal to 30 means z is pointing to the new object. Z is not pointing to this. Z is not pointing to this, right? Z is not is pointing to the new object. So reference count decreases to 1. Reference count decreases to 1. So only x is pointing to this object. Y and z also were pointing to this, but now y and z are pointing to different objects. Slowly, I modify this x value also to 50. Now an object 50 gets created with some address. So this address is given to x. Now x is pointing to the new object. X is not pointing to the old object, right? So reference count becomes what? 0. If any object reference count becomes 0, then object immediately removed by the garbage collector. So this object, if RC equal to 0 means unused or unreferred objects. Unused or unreferred objects, we call them as.
Sir, is there is any method to find out the reference code
No.
here?
This happens internally, right? What happens internally, I'm discussing. So whenever any reference count becomes 0, immediately that object gets removed. When the object gets removed means whenever the reference count becomes 0, right? Understood, everyone? Is it clear? What is garbage collector? Later I discuss in brief with multiple examples, right? But later removes unused or unreferred. Now if reference count becoming 0 means unused or unreferred object, then that object immediately removed from the garbage collector. This object immediately removed from the memory by the garbage collector, right? Yes. Now coming back to this, right? X is 10, x, forget about x equal 20 for some time. X equal to 10, an object created with some address. What is the reference count of this object?
1.
1. Only x is
1.
pointing, right? Only x is pointing. So its reference count is 1. Now slowly x value is modified to 20. Now x is pointing to the new object. X is not pointing to this. Reference count becomes what? 0.
0.
It is pointing to that new object. It is not pointing to the old. Whenever reference count becomes 0, immediately garbage collector removes this object from the memory, right? Yes. Right. So this is what that object gets removed, right? The object is going to get removed. Yes. Understood? Any queries here? Anyone as part of today's session? Just I was showing you that execution modes, different modes of executions like interactive mode and batch mode. So 1 second. Right, Python execution modes, interactive and batch modes, various editors, various IDs, developing first Python application using editor. Later I'll show how to download and how to install and how to run the code on different Python IDs in real time, right? For like PyCharm, Eclipse, Spider, NetBeans, right? These things. VS Code. And later like defining variables, right? 4 variables. Case 1, if you observe, right? Only one value, it's going to have some address, print x id of x, type of x. Next, right? X is 10, y is 20. X is 10 and y is 20. Okay. 2 different variables with 2 different values, then 2 different objects with 2 different addresses. Case 3, if the x is 10, y is 10, z is 10, only one object, right? With only one address. Now answer this last one, right? X is 10, X is 20. The previous one will be removed, only the new one, right? This one X equal to 20 exists, right? Any queries from your side as part of today's session, right?
Sir, how can I go to the notes?
Notes, okay, we are done with only only 2 or 3 topics. We still reading today only, just we're entering into the technicals, right? Next 1 or within 1 or 2 days, you'll be getting the notes, right? So
Okay.
once everyone gets enrolled, once everyone got registered, right? So Monday also you can attend the session, everyone. Say like a free session, right? But from Tuesday onwards, the link will be changed. Those only who are enrolled, who got registered only, the link you will be getting that link remaining. Yes. So you can just go to that registration or enrollment process, right? So Monday also people can attend same time with using the same link, right? But Tuesday the link will be changed. Yeah. Yes.
How many classes are completed till today? I have joined today only.
3. I think.
Today is the third class, right? Previously 2 classes. So those who have missed the previous classes, you can just go to the videos, right? What is introduction to this Python? Why Python? How we can learn? Like what are the different applications, right?
Can I get that videos? No. Or introduction videos.
Okay. So everyone. So 1 second. Just give me a second, right? Yeah, 1 second. So those who didn't get that videos, right? If anyone who are attending today, right? You can just now the count. We have got total the videos every day the video you will be getting, right, to the Google Drive link. So that online team, the contact details will be provided, right? Online team. Somebody said that it was the first day, right? May I know is that?
It's myself, Naga Venkat Sai, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I got
So
this link
today
from
my
my.
first class.
Okay. So, yes, 1 second. Please be in mute, right?
Yeah, I need the demo link also.
Okay. Fine. Now in the chart panel, you can see that online team contact details will be provided, right? You can just, if you call them, not only now, in the coming days also, you can just make a note of this online team contact details for any link or any video related, any other things, right? You can just contact those people. I'll ask them, yes, you will be getting that by tomorrow morning, right? You will be getting that videos of the previous session also, those who have attended today, right? So everyone, you will be getting the previous today's last 2 days, the videos will be getting. You can just go through. Next class will be on Monday, right? Next class is going to be on Monday, same time with the same link. You can join to see more on this, right? Python.
We can get that videos by tomorrow. As tomorrow is Sunday.
You are not a problem. Tomorrow they will be forwarding it by tomorrow 2 o'clock. No, by tomorrow o'clock afternoon, you will be getting the videos, right? Not a problem. Yes, can you see this? Yeah, about the payment details, other things, right? You can see not just now that online team has given. Can you see the demo videos also? Demo videos are included in this.
No, we are unable to download. Is a link is there or it's a folder?
Can you see this chart panel? Just now, chart panel. In the chart panel, can you see a message?
Yeah.
In the message, can you see that the links are provided? Demo link, course content link,
Yes.
demo videos, all this, right? You can copy that links, right? In the
Mhm.
YouTube, we can see directly. Directly, they have uploaded that in the YouTube, right? The first two, last two videos already you can see in the YouTube. So, and if you can see that, so if you have got any concerns, the contact details are provided, and that YouTube videos links are provided. You can copy that links, right, for reviewing the videos, right, of the previous demo sessions, right, everywhere, right. And the payment details, everything you can see, right. And after payment, you are supposed to share the screenshot to DurgaSoft online training at the Gmail. Then only they can forward you that new link. The Tuesday the link will be changing, right? So from there, so Monday you can go with the same link. Okay, fine. Any other query, right? Anyone can just, okay.
After Monday, we need to enroll. No, sir?
By Monday, by Monday, by Monday class you can attend, right? It is
Okay.
the same link, the same, okay, but Tuesday the link will be changed.
Okay, sir.
So I'm stopping here. If there are no other queries, if I'm done with the queries, right?
Sir, for how many months this course will continue?
So like it will be for 2.5 months, like 80 to 100 hours. 80 to 100 hours the course will, and
Okay.
for 2.5 months, right? Yes.